All right, what is up, guys? Welcome to another video of our Psychobabble topics. Today we're going to do chapter 5, the principle of social proof of the very excellent book of Robert Cialdini, Weapons of Influence. Now, before we start, I would like to make 2 points. The first is do it in one take, no takebacks, sort of speech. It changes the quality of your work as it's in one go. It's flowing, it's natural. Second point is I'm stuck. I'm stuck in life, I'm stuck in my psyche. And the only thing you can do when you're stuck is move, move, and move. You can call it discipline, you can call it hard work, you can call it God's divine grace. But if you're stuck in a swamp of your own creation, then you gotta wade and move and wade and move and wade and move. Of course, there'll be some devils and demons and hydras to fight along the way, but those are topics for a different time. So, let us continue with the principle of social proof of Robert Cialdini. So, we see as humans, we see behavior as correct in a given situation to the degree we see others performing it. You know, like children, they see adults act, and monkey sees, monkey does. It's a recurring topic. So, advertisers, they love fastest growing, largest selling, because it indicates that other people want it and the product is wanted. And if other people want it, so do we, you know? Like 95% of people are imitators and only 5% are initiators. People are persuaded more by the actions of others than by any proof a fact manufacturer can offer. You know, the best advertisement is peer-to-peer. It's like, hey, I know this guy who's very good at this job and he will help you. And automatically, doesn't really matter the price, because the quality of the product is it's tested, it's proven, you know. For example, in romantic partners, you can go for somebody with little experience, but isn't it like better to have somebody who already has proven to be a good mate than to take a gamble on a wild card? Now, of course, in a romantic setting, the boy has to understand the nature of the Scorpio and has to realize that if he transfers a Scorpio, then both will sink. So, for example, you have phobias, you know, spiders, dogs, socially shy and isolated. And what you do is you can show a 20-minute video of somebody petting spiders or petting dogs or being social. And results have shown that this actually works. We have to see someone performing the action and having success, and that is the switch that we can make in our brain. Once we see somebody doing the action that we're afraid of and getting positive results in it, now that is the key to a good life. Remember that. It's the same with pickup. Like, if guys are afraid of girls, like, just pay an artist or pay or like be of some value and use to a good friend who's good with women and just copy his behavior. Oh, it's actually also the same with aggression, violence, and sex. You know, if you see it more on TV, like school shooters, once you have one school shooter, other ones pop up because it's like somebody else is performing it. So I'm repeating it. Like sexual actions on TV, like pornographic. I don't know the results or the statistics, but I'm really sure that the generation after me is going to be a sexually extremely liberated and extremely fucked up society, because the fact that 12-year-olds, 9-year-olds have access to hardcore porn in 2 clicks. That is not okay. Now we come to the topic of aggression and video games, which I think is bullshit, because I've played a lot of violent video games, and so did my friends, and none of us has a violent antisocial uh, behavioral cues. And then you have a lot of people who don't play video games, who are extremely aggressive and end up in jail or dead. So I don't believe in that link, but that's of course my personal belief. Monkey sees, monkey does, huh? For example, in the flying saucer kill, it's like doomsday cults, you know? It's like they're building up, stacking up, then the day approaches, they're all excited. And the hours, they count the hours, the excitement grows, and then nothing happens. And what happens? Do they see the light? No. They double down. They double down in their faith, because what else can they do? It's their only hope. It's Pandora's box. Oh, and I have a very good essay on Pandora's box. So, behavior and ideas are extremely copycat-like, mimic-like, because we monkeys are mimic-like, copycat-like creatures. It is what children do with adults and other children. So if the boy still doesn't understand the nature of the Scorpion, of the Matrix, of the State Gang, then the boy will be in a lot of trouble. So like, for example, the Matrix, it's like a flow, it's an agenda, a intertwine of powerful entities, and if you cause trouble, then their agents will come and remove you, like what happened with Andrew Tate. So, for example, you have the case of Catherine Genovese. So in New York, a woman was stabbed, but it wasn't an ordinary stabbing. It was like a stabbing that went on for like 40 hours in a heavy, dense, populated apartment area. And nobody did anything. Nobody called the police. Everybody heard it, but nobody did anything. It's like a bystander effect. Is it apathy? Is it fear? Is it self-preservation? No. The first reason was because there was a reduced personal responsibility. You know, we're like in a block, so everybody else can help. And there's also uncertainty. Like, should I help? What is the situation? What is going on? Isn't there like a police dealing with this stuff? What is happening? So safety in numbers usually works unless you're a pig walking into the slaughterhouse. Sometimes it's better to pinpoint a single person with a specific order to get the help that you need. Now, embarrassment is a villain to be crushed, because we lose basically the best opportunities and people in our life because we're embarrassed or ashamed. So never underestimate the power of social proof and mob mentality. So we will copy, especially if we feel similar and if we look up to the person that we are trying to emulate. So the female hive mind is real. It's even stronger urge in females because their survival really depends on the group. Males are a bit different. That's, for example, why you have so many male initiation ceremonies in ancient tribal societies. It's like literally cutting him away from the group to become a man. Now, the reason boys are lost in society is because they're both psychologically or initiation-wise retarded, and it's because they are sexually left behind. And I think those two things are extremely important in a man's development. But these are not the topic of this video. So teenagers are not independent rebels. I mean, they are independent rebels against their parents, but they are very obedient to their own peer group. Be careful of that. It's the terrible twos. Those are the real rebels. So, for example, if you live in a promiscuous society, the women who have basically lost all their value and decency are going to try to infect the younger generation of women because they are their direct competition for the men they want. So hoes try to make as much hoes as they want. Women who carry diseases try to spread those diseases as much as they can. It's like a general hatred for humanity. Like the story of Cain and Abel. So suicide stories, when it pops up in the news, a lot more people commit suicide, or violence is the same thing with the school shooters. So a lot of people are in pain, like psychological, spiritual, physical, mental, but those are... I prefer psychological and spiritual because they're not that mainstream, and it's because they are my topics of expertise. So you have the Monkey Island of Jonestown, where like the Reverend Jones made his own little cult in New Guyana or something like that. And then an entire drama ensued. They killed some officials, and then it was this one big suicide pact. But what is important is that if you have a herd and like the alpha bull moves, others won't necessarily follow. The key thing here is that it's about the core pack of the leader. Basically, it's not the king. Well, it is the king, but it's the knights and the warriors around the king. Once the king moves, the knights and the warriors move, and then everybody else follows. It's because like the top dogs move and everybody follows. We are not lone wolves. This is not a one-man show. We are primates, and primates function in group. Your income is dependent of the group. Your friends are dependent of the quality of your friends. Your sexual life is heavily dependent on your social prowess. That's why, for example, a king needs zealous knights, but who does the king draw strength from? That's, of course, boss over boss over boss, and eventually you have God, but God never responds. So, is he still alive? And if he's still alive, does he give a fuck? And even if he gives a fuck, does he like you? Some questions to think about. So the mind of slaughterhouse operators is kind of like using the herd mentality against the prey. No defense. You have like for example, during opera times, people were being paid, or at least had free access in return that after the show they started clapping, and then everybody else starts clapping. That is how it works. It's contagious. So you have to be aware of fake social proof, because marketing, the social media, it's everywhere. Like fakeness, ineffectiveness, and incompetence is the norm. You have to be able to shift that out. So, yeah. You have to look at what others do and believe, and you have to be aware of the principles of uncertainty. When we are uncertain, we follow the group, and when we're similar, we also tend to follow people that we admire. So, this was chapter 5 of Robert Cialdini's Weapons of Influence. Hope you've learned something, and see you later.